for the webinar. Super great information. I think it's awesome. We're so excited. This is exactly what we were looking for. One of the questions that came up for us, one of our members watched the webinar last week, and then she came and she's like, okay, everybody go now, go watch the webinar. So one of the questions that did come up was, if one person buys like 10 tickets, how do those other 9 people get their credit card information to check out? Like,
it does. It does. Okay. So a few things, right? I'm going to step back a moment because you also want to know who the 10 people are, right? So what you could set up with your ticket campaign is you could set up tables. So, and people who buy tables in turn could invite other people and get RSVPs from them. So for example, if Sarah goes in and buys a table, you'll have the ability to invite your friends and family. So you can say, hey, I'm inviting Nidhi for 2 spots. And I'll get an invitation from Sarah for the event and I can accept or decline and you can see that, right? So just like that, you'll have all your guests filling in their information, right? And then it all gets fed back into your guest list. So that's one, right? You could also have instances where they call your office and then they say, hey, on the mayor's table, we're going to have these people sitting and you can fill it as well as an admin. So that's the second way of getting information in. And again, if all this fails, which it happens, sometimes people just don't give you the information, you can also collect it at the time of check-in. So they can just walk up and say, hey, I'm Sarah's guest. I'm going to be sitting on her table. And then the volunteer can check you in. All right. So that's part 1 about getting everybody's information in. Then about pre-swiping, which you asked about, right? Getting everybody's credit card information. At the time of check-in, the volunteer can ask the donor, hey, would you like to put a credit card on file? If the donor gives it, they'll quickly use the card reader, which will send you, and they can either tap or pre-swipe, and the card will get associated to the donor, right? And then at the end of the event, either the donor can say, I'm going to do a self-checkout or just charge it to my card on file, or the day after, you can charge it to the cards that you've saved.
Like, does that make sense? The other question I had was on equipment. Like, so if we want to run, I potentially see us running a hybrid event in person and online. So do you guys supply any of the equipment, the projector, the screen, or that tap, the credit card reader that you had right there? Like, what is it that you guys?
So for the production pieces, you'll either rent your own or you'll work with a producer who can bring in the equipment for you, right? Okay. What we would send you are card readers. So we have like a loaner program. So you can just go sign up on our website, pay a deposit. We'll ship the card readers to you. When you're done, you can send it back to us.
Okay. So what's the cost associated with, like, if we use one of your auctioneers or your producer?
We don't have any producers or auctioneers in-house. We do have a partner list. So, and we can share the page with you. Again, these people have already worked with us in the past. They understand the system really well. They're pretty good at what they do. I can paste a link over here and you're welcome to reach out to them and then, decide who you'd like to work with and who's a good fit for you. So I can paste that over here right now. Okay. While I'm looking up that, like, any more questions?
Debbie, do you have any questions? I think Debbie's with us. Tony's available. Tony was awesome. Thank you, Tony, for being awesome.
From anybody. Please post your information. Again, if they're interested, they'll reach out to you.
Yeah, Tony. Okay. And if we decide not to go, if we decide to do the whole thing by ourselves, your team will train someone to be the producer?
Yeah, so we do, one of the calls we do with you is a production call. Again, we do have a documentation that you'll follow along, and somebody in your team will have to put in the time to get familiar with it. But if you have any questions about it, we're happy to answer.
We'll take down, I think that's all I have. Is there a good like direct email address to email you for questions that we think of? Or the best way to do that?
I'll put in the email address here, and you'll be getting an email which you could just respond to as well, just reply, but that's the email address, and somebody in the team will get back to you.
Or what's okay. I think it sounds great. I'm super excited. How long have you guys been doing this event, or like
pretty quickly? We over 5.5 years. We have about more than 1,000 events a year, so quite a lot.
Okay.
If you have any
last year
any component, happy to help. Yeah.
Awesome. This platform. Last year we went with a startup company, and I think the team was like, never again. So that's the only reason why I asked that question. I can now tell them they've been doing this for 5 years, all through COVID. I think this is a good fit. Okay. Contact at PayBee. Is that LO? IO?
IO.
Sorry.
Yeah.
IO.
Yes.
That's a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tony. Okay. Tony. I think.
All right. Thank you all for coming. I'm happy to stick around for another moment or so if anybody has any specific questions to talk about your event. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming, and it was good to meet you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Good to meet you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.